A very good morning, my dear children. Today I am going to teach a chapter in moral science, that is Grandpa's Neighbors. It's a very nice chapter, my dear children. Grandpa's Neighbor. Okay. So what is this talking about? What is neighborhood? In SST I taught you all that what a neighborhood means. What is a neighborhood? So the people who surrounds our house, those are our neighbors. Okay. Who lives nearby to our house, those are our neighbors. So here Grandpa is talking about some neighbors. Now who these neighbors are? Let's see. So all of you open your book to page number 11. So Grandpa had many stories to tell. You know, grandparents, they love to tell stories to you all, and you all love to listen. This also happens still now. You know, when I go to my grandmother's house, if she's very old now, but if she tries to tell me some stories now, I just grab to hear all those stories. I just love it. You know, I love to hear stories like you children, and I love to tell stories also. You should develop a habit of telling stories. Okay, it's very nice. Okay, the people will love you a lot if you tell stories, good stories. So here is a very nice story. Who are Grandpa's neighbors? Let's see. Okay, what is the story telling about? Grandpa had many stories to tell. Anu loved to hear the stories about their house. Everyone wants to know the stories about their house, okay, that how their house was, which people used to live previously in their house. So all these stories we also love to hear, and Anu is the name of a small girl like you. She also loved to hear the stories about their house which Grandpa used to tell her. Tell me more about our house, please, said Anu. Grandpa smiled. 30 years ago, he had built the house they still live in. But he could talk about it every day. Each day he had something new to recall, and he wanted to tell something about that house. Every day a new story on that house. Though the house was built 30 years back. But Grandpa used to tell the stories. It was very new to them, okay, the stories. When we built this house, ours was only one around, said Grandpa. So Grandpa told that when Grandpa built the house over there, only his house was there. No other houses were there nearby. Okay. So now what about the neighbors? Who will be his neighbors then if no one is there? None of the houses were built. Then let's see the story. This is the interesting part of the story. That sounded strange. Anu looked out at the street and saw the twinkling lights of houses that touched each other. They looked as if they were saying, "Great to be your neighbor." So didn't you have neighbors? Wisdom. Now Anu is telling her, you didn't have any neighbors, Grandpa, but now we can see the street lights over here. So many houses are nearby, and now you are telling that you didn't have any neighbors at that time. Then how is it possible? Then who were your neighbors? Of course we had neighbors. They were neem tree and mango trees, said Grandpa. And what did Grandpa say? A very nice answer that yes, we had a neighbor. That were the mango trees and the neem trees. They were our neighbors. There were crows and miners, parrots and sparrows. At sunset, packs of jackals would come out and howl. Okay. So, new type of neighbors. Even the miners, the sparrows, they are also a neighbor. Should be okay when we are sitting on the near the balcony, or we are there standing on the balcony. We see that so many birds are chirping. They are going over here and there. It looks so nice. So they also should be considered to our neighbors. Okay, each and every day we see them. So they are also to be our neighbors. And the trees who gives fresh oxygen to us so that we can breathe in, they also should be our neighbors. Okay, though they can't speak, but they are doing a lot of helpful work to us. So they are supplying us with fruits, with foods, with pure oxygen, and so many things. The trees, they are truly a friend of us. So they were the Grandpa's neighbor at that time, 30 years back, when the house was newly built. Then said Grandpa, very few months, few neighbors built their houses and shifted in. Our old neighbors like trees and birds, cats and dogs lost their homes. So when the people are coming to build their houses, then what happens? They cut the trees, they cut down the trees, and the animals and the birds who used to make the nest and the birds who used to make on the nest over there on the trees, and some cats and dogs who used to just take a small shelter and stay over there, all they are homeless, becomes homeless, and they go somewhere else. Okay, so the neighbors are shifted. Okay, the old neighbors are shifted and the new neighbors are coming to that place. Anu looked out again. There were cars and people on the street, and Anu couldn't make it out that nowadays, yeah, she can see there's so many cars, street lights, so many houses, and Grandpa is talking about that trees, mynas, sparrows, dogs, cats. Then she couldn't make it out that how is it possible. I don't like Mrs. Chopra. She leans over the wall to pinch my cheeks, said Anu. Anu said, I don't like this Mrs. Chopra. She pinches my cheeks. I don't like it. Grandpa laughed. We cannot choose our neighbors. Now Grandpa laughed and told, we can't choose our neighbors. Nor can they choose us. So where we are staying, we have to stay with them. Maybe they are good. Maybe they are not up to the mark. So, but we have to stay with them. But we should be kind and polite to them. It is difficult to be happy in an unhappy neighborhood. But you have to cope up with the situation. You have to love all the people who are there in your neighbors, but you have to stay with them only. And if you can't stay, so you will be very unhappy, because you are at the end of the day you will come back to your house. Okay, so and all the merrymakings you will do with your neighbors only. So if you are not having a good understanding with your neighbors, so your life will not be a very happy one. You will have a very unhappy life. So we have to greet our neighbors. We have to behave with them very properly. Okay. Anu's cheeks hurt as the thought of meeting Mrs. Chopra the next morning. But perhaps Grandpa was right. Mrs. Chopra was always happy to see her. And she never forgot to share with Anu those delicious cakes she baked. Maybe she was pinching her cheeks. She was feeling a bit pain. But every day, this person, Mrs. Chopra, used to bake the delicious cakes, and she used to give it to Anu, and Anu loved eating those cakes. The next time she pinches my cheek, I will shut my eyes and think of the cake, said Anu. And Anu told, next time when she'll be coming now, I'll not behave badly with her. I'll just close my eyes and then I'll think of the cake which she is going to give it to me. So it's a very nice chapter, my dear children. So in your moral science, you will get all the question answers, and whatever is there, today only you will get it. I will send it in your assignment, the question answers. The 5th number question, it will be quite big, so I cancelled it, but the others are very interesting and you can learn it by heart. For those reasons, the questions I gave it over, it's written, you'll get it with your chapter only. You will get the assignment also. So my dear children, all of you stay safe in your house and read very nicely for your first term. Okay, bye. See you.